Hello, you guys. Hello, LFT.
Hello.
Look at you here on time. What's up with that?
Cooking pasta in the kitchen.
I'm gonna have to turn you up. Yes, to me, you did hear that correctly. That prisoners worked for a call center. Yes. Which I had mixed emotions about. I'm not gonna lie.
Can you hear my water boiling?
No, but I needed you to talk so that I could turn my sound up.
I have the Lego earbuds in, so hopefully.
Oh, that's why it sounds okay. Cool.
I'll switch to the better ones in a minute. But
Lavina, Blissful, hi. Thanks for being here. Welcome to Decipher. Thank you so much. Wheel, it's okay that you missed. Is everything okay? We've missed you. Are you doing all right? How's mom? Is mom okay? Legal system lawyers and Julia. So I have linked Kate's live at the top because it was so good. And she did a tremendous job. She really, she hosted a live last night that was hard and it was unexpected. She didn't anticipate all the people coming in that she had. And so I'm so happy for her that we all got to talk to those people.
I thought it went really, really, really well. And I'm really glad I stayed off so I wasn't dropping on and off and trying to take it all in. Y'all should have seen me taking notes.
Oh, you should have seen our messenger. Our messenger's blow. Every 10 seconds, she's sending messages to Kate and I like, ask this, ask that. And then I look in the chat and there's a separate question. I'm like, wish she's just sitting there like, these questions are rolling off of her. It's amazing. It's like, hold on, I can't keep up with it. I have my own questions. I can't keep up. But LFT was there with the good questions. But first and foremost, I did, I sent a thank you to, now I did not send one to Caitlin because I don't have her information, but I will send her one. I did send one to Crystal and to James, and both got back and were very kind. I really just wanted to take a moment and thank all of them for coming up to Kate's and talking with us. And also it was, if you didn't see, Burden of Proof was there. And I know you all know who that is. What?
She's amazing. I could listen to her voice for hours on end.
Yeah, we need to drop her a link. We really do. She was lovely. That was my first interaction with her. I've never spoken with her before. I've heard, obviously she's I've heard her, but I haven't ever spoken with her, and she was lovely. If you're not subscribed to Burden of Proof, I will find her link in 1 second because we don't
Got
have.
it. I'll do it 1 second.
Okay, thank you. Because we don't have any mods in here tonight. Cool. Oh,
I'm a mod.
Shay Benet just rolled in. I just said that. I mean, mods, and Shay Benet rolled in. Hi, Shay. Welcome.
Shay was like, what up?
Look at Butterfly Kisses. Has your question?
I'll tell you one thing, Butterfly. I wish I'd gone to Walgreens today. That would have been the highlight of my day.
Apparently, when I asked Helifty how her day was, we're not talking about it. So I was like, oh, all right, cool. I don't know how her day went. Apparently, there was no fun Walgreens trip. But here's what I'm going to do. Next time I go to Walgreens, I'm going to film it and I'm going to send it to. Thank you, Shay. I really appreciate that. Thank you. We're going to
keep laughing. Like, I won't take y'all to Walgreens with me in like 10 minutes if I need to go.
I didn't know. Okay.
I was like, well, now I'm all motivated.
Well, apparently it's a competition now.
And I was like, I mean, we can go. We can go. If we want, do you want to go? Do we need anything?
I mean, we always need something from Walgreens. Just ask Allie. Maybe some M&Ms or something. We need to
I got the mini, like the regular mini ones were on sale for, you buy like the snack, like the Ziploc pack.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have gotten one and may already need almost another bag of
Well, just admit it. Did you do it or didn't you?
No, I didn't. Listen.
Me too, Blissful. Me too.
Y'all hear? Those are mini M&Ms left in the bag. I swear I haven't eaten the whole thing, but they are on sale.
Me too, Blissful. I love couponing there. It's the best. It's the best. So,
climbed a pole and done a Green Acres for IT connection. The damnedest thing of it is, I'm standing in the kitchen with.
Story.
Is that not weird? Like the iPad's connected and my laptop is like, I turned off typically all Wi-Fi when we do a live, so one device gets it all. But I haven't even done that. I'm just in the kitchen.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's saying about that. Look, I have Wi-Fi, and I was like, it's the damnedest thing that I'm not. We put the desk. The desk should have gone in the kitchen.
That's where it should have gone. You should have just gotten a big chair for the bar stool area there and just set up your desk there.
Gosh, I'm gonna have to move it to the utility closet.
So we will be talking about a number of different things. It's not gonna be a terribly long live, but we do want to touch on some things that we learned last night from Crystal, Caitlin. Burden of Proof asked. No, she lives in she does not live in a remote place, which is the most hysterical thing. She does not live in a remote place.
Okay, mine is similar. Y'all all watch Allie Erickson too, and you know how hers sometimes goes in and out, especially when we try to
now,
share.
Allie is in a remote area.
But
yeah, much more remote than yours. Allie has a lot less cement than you do, believe me.
Well, that's true. But even when I'm at, like, if I go to my dad's, that's kind of like Allie's. But remember around Christmas, like back in our old days, when we did like the day after Christmas, and I held the connection because I was doing it from Main Street. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't have it. It just toys with my emotions. My internet does.
Get a booster.
And I'm sorry. I don't know if the booster would help.
Hi, Nay.
Watch me, Nay.
I know.
So the answer to that is sadly no.
I just put Nay's music notes up, and Nay, I need to go get some more Beautiful Stranger from you, because I'm burning that shit like it's going out of style. And I hope you're doing well. I know the booster can't hurt, especially it can only help. So that's why I say we need to get We need to get the booster. Anyway, did you all catch the live last night on Kate's? It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little, there was times where it was heavy. Hi, Grandma Sherry. Hi. So thank you for being here. So good to see you. It was so good. And like I said, Kate handled herself like a freaking champ. And there was some very difficult oh no. Nay, you still didn't, it didn't. Oh. You guys send Nay some love. She has been sick, and she tried to go back to work today and it was no good apparently. K-Braze, me too. I got super emotional and I was trying not to get emotional because they deserve glory, strength, and all the good things, and they don't deserve my tears. But boy, oh boy, Crystal leveled me at the knees. It was the things that she went through, and I am taking away from no one else, but just some of the things that she said hurt my heart physically. I was like, she is such a freaking badass for even stepping up and talking about her ordeal. I can't even believe it. I cannot, the strength that these women have. And also James, I want to give James a lot of credit because I think he was super nervous from my understanding. First of all, having a cellmate who is that type of a character has got to be really rough when that's not your jam at all. And he was clearly not having that. But some of the antics that Jesse McFadden pulled on this guy, I was, it was funny because I was watching, and I'm going to call his ass out because I thought it was funny, but I was watching some of Risk's comments, and I'll be honest with you, I agreed with him. And then God bless James. Risk was like, did this guy ever get his ass beat in jail? And I was kind of like asking the same thing. If he's that weird and that forward with men in the prison system, I mean, he had to be some kind of crazy ass character. But when James told some of the stories that he told, I was kind of like, attaboy. Way to go, you. And you're good friends. But I'll be honest with you, James, from what I've seen and dealt with, has been a gentleman behind the scenes and in front of the scenes too, but has been an absolute gentleman.
Very well spoken. Everyone. I mean,
Everyone.
Even in the fits of anger, though, everyone is very. So sorry, I did not mean to. Trying to be quiet. Holy heck, where was I going with that? No, I meant that as everyone on Kate's panel, get like you all who were on panel, and then the guests who came up. I just thought even those fits of just that they have every right to be like that frustration and anger and everything, but they were so
what was
just well spoken and
appalling?
conveyed their points. Like we're able to still you could pick up on like especially like hearing Crystal and Caitlin too. Just even yeah, but even in that midst of anger, they were kind of able, to kind of still give you a picture in a very few words. And I just think that takes, like I said, it's just something admirable about it.
Very admirable. And like I said, I thought James, I've had a couple messages with him, and every single time that he responds with a very polite, ma'am is always in there. And he's just, listen, James, if you're listening, I like you. I really like you. And I like the fact that you have been keeping up on this prior to, and that you tried to help, and that, Caitlin and Crystal tried to help. And this responsibility, as I said last night, and I stand by this, the blame goes to Jesse McFadden. and I have another name for him, but I won't use it on here. But you all can figure it out. It's really my foul language that wants to come through. Jesse Mc something.
He's
McMother
not.
Trucker.
It is not McLovin.
No,
I
it is
know
Mother
that.
McMother Trucker. Only not so nice. But I, I'm trying to take a deep breath so I don't get because I get worked up over this guy real easily. And it's not funny. And I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. Please don't
Who we?
misunderstand that.
Wait, Shay says, "Who are we talking about?" Oh my gosh, Shay
Oh,
Bonet.
Shay. Okay. So thank you so much for asking that question. Let's back up and give a quick summary on what we're doing. Shay, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. So we're talking about the 7 people that were, well, the 6 people that were unalived in Oklahoma, and then the perpetrator unalived himself. Piece of shit. After planning this whole debacle,
A dirt nap. I love that.
Jesse
Oh,
McFadden was the guy's name. Jesse McFadden is a convicted RAPE
do it.
person. Mhm.
IST.
Mhm. Mhm. And he actually did that horrible thing to one of the ladies that was on panel last night, and she was brave enough to come up and not only speak about how she wanted to help, tried to help, and her some of her history. But
both
Caitlin, the
both of
girl
them.
that he was while in prison texting, wink
Mm.
wink, with an S, um, who was also underage, she came up on panel last night.
And
Yes,
Shay,
see closer.
it,
That's why I wanted to know Grandma Share. I was like, "Is there a hole for hell somewhere that
yes,
we could just dump him in?" So I don't even wanna waste the dirt, just straight to hell. How do you
that
get there?
cow, that cow or the horse manure pile that they found, like who have, the property owners that they were cleaning out the stalls, they should just reuse that. But Shay, basically, Jesse McFadden was in prison on
Huh?
a first degree R charge. He's supposed to serve what, a minimum 20 years, but he
Wait, go back. What are you talking about with the manure?
that how the people who owned the property, when the investigate law enforcement came out there and they said they noticed a pile, they thought of like freshly moved a mound of dirt, an area of,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
supposed,
Also, you're naked, by the way, LFT.
just the choice is you can either I don't know how to fix it. I'm not naked on my phone on StreamYards, but on the iPad, uh, I don't know. But anyway, so hold on.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
he was in prison on
Oof.
a first degree R charge, like serving time. And while in there, he was transferred to the Just Done Correctional in uh I believe 2015. I think that's when, yes, 2015, because he was no longer with James Fleming in that same one who was the amazing guy that spoke to last night on Kate's panel. So when he went to the new prison, not only did he get like a phone, confiscated a phone, but was able to carry out his same behavior in prison, where he proceeded to get another charge for his behavior, and then he got out. He's a douche, in my opinion.
I'm going to Grandma Sherry. That's exactly what we're gonna do. We're not gonna play the whole thing because we want Kate to get the views for it, obviously. But that no comment on whether the girls were essayed, but they were clothed, thank God. So I'll just take that as a please, Lord Jesus. Let's just hope that I don't know. Personally, my feeling is that uh, Jesse did not want to go back to prison. So this was his plan all along. When he was caught with after Crystal's instant, and please don't think that I'm making anything less. I don't know what to call it. Incident isn't enough, but tragedy, horror. Um,
Mhm.
he was found on a riverbank with his wrists slit when they caught him. So that titty baby bitch was already uh
He's
ready
manipulative.
ready to die, commit these crimes and ready to take the easy way out. Um when he was put in jail, he was placed in the same cell that James Fleming was in. They were both in the same cell for about 18 months. And no, they did Risk. I was just talking about you, buddy. Um they were placed in the same cell and it did not go well for McFadden in there. It just did not go well. Apparently he thought he was the shit in prison
Mhm.
because the prison that they were in was also kind of a hellhole for that type of personality. Seems as though James was the outcast in that prison. James was not in, and I need to stress this a gazillion times because he was in jail for a good amount of time. James was in jail for 9.5 years. So his crime was that of drugs, but nothing to do with any children essay or anything
Mm-mm.
like that. Now it's
Mm-mm.
not okay and we don't excuse that behavior, but also sure as shit seems to me like Mr. Fleming has paid his debt and he's trying real hard to right his wrongs, and God bless him. He is welcome here any and always. Um, and he's been doing the best that he can to try and help Holly being the
God.
wife of James McFadden, who was killed with her 3 children, Riley, Michael, Tiffany, and then Tiffany's 2 best friends, Brittany and Ivy, were also killed during this whole thing. James, or not James, excuse me. No, Jesse
Mhm.
then turned around and Facebook messaged Caitlin and blamed everything on Caitlin in the messages.
Mhm.
This is all your fault. Da 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 da. Bullshit. None of this is
You're
her. None of it.
of it.
How did
What
he
if
capture these women? Well, we first of all, Shay, the interesting thing is all of these women, every single one, are stunningly beautiful, stunningly gorgeous women. He's a talker. This guy's a talker. He's only about 5'6",
I
somewhere
thought they said
between.
I wrote 5'2" down at one point. I was
Well, that's
about
what
to ask.
James said, but I saw his jail, and it was he was about 5'6", I
Cool,
think.
he's my height.
Right. But for a fella, I mean, also he was sexually fluid, didn't seem to care who and what. He just wanted it all the time wherever he was, whether prison or on the outside. Um,
That's funny. I wrote weird slash comfortable with women
well,
slash men.
James, yeah. I can Oh my god, James with the best comment. He can hear okay. We gotta
Hmm.
find Jesse's picture. Do you have his picture anywhere by
I
any
have
chance?
several of them, but here's the thing. I found one of him a while ago
Uh-huh.
because that latest one of him, like the ears were like before when he had a slightly shaggier hair. Your focus would kind of go more to the blue eyes because he does have like kind of very blue eyes that are
Mhm.
gripping, and so you go to the blue eyes. But then the next picture, like with the shorter shaven, kind of hair, you forget the eyes, and you're like, what antennas are like coming? I have no room to talk though. Mine kind of stick out, but not like that. I don't hear the sun come up. Um, it was
Even
weird
Tom
though.
Cruise is 5'8". Tom Cruise ain't 5'8".
when he stands on a sofa.
Tom Cruise ain't 5'8". he's 5'6" if he's a day. No kidding.
Add a little
This was
charm.
the picture that he sent. Where is
Ugh.
it?
He looks so downtrodden and just like,
Oh, I don't feel
poor
sorry
people
for
me.
his pig ass self.
I
This
want to
was
guess it's Visine in his eyes,
this
not
was
real
the
tears.
this was the picture that he sent to one of the victims on Sunday night of himself while he's blaming her. Also, if you notice in the background the names of the children, the family, this guy is sick. He's sick, but yeah, you can see those big ass Dumbo ears on him, his ugly ass face.
But did you notice that in his other ones though? Like one picture, it's kind of like his mugshots. One he has like a button-up shirt on, the blue, not a Vinnie Vines one, but it was like maybe he got busted. I don't know. He looks younger though. In his ears, you could see it, but then the second one of him, like his mugshot picture, the ears are like just measure the ears alone. Just hell.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker. Grandma Sherry. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. These people should get life or death. They always reoffend. Well, and his offenses were so horrific. And here's the thing. He continued to offend while in prison.
I'm not laughing. I'm just shocked at the audacity.
Oh my God. New name. Ears McFudden. We're done. That's it. We'll be Ears McFudden. That's his new name.
That's it. Because what did you tell me earlier? And I was like, it's definitely not McLovin.
Mother Trucker. That's McMother Trucker. I'm so angry too. He isn't. The women that he did this to are I'll show you a picture of Holly. If you guys haven't seen Holly and her kids, we need to honor them. We don't need to focus on him. He doesn't get as much as.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other victims. And every one of them is gorgeous. Holly, her children. There's Holly and her son. Now look at Holly and those eyes. Is she not a stunner? Holy sheep shit. She is gorgeous. But apparently she was very naive. There's Ivy and there's Brittany. Aren't they beautiful? And then Tiffany here. Wait, who are we missing?
It goes Michael.
Oh, we don't have Riley. We don't have Riley in that picture.
Yeah. Michael. Wait, so there's Michael Jane, Holly, Tiffany, Ivy, and Brittany, right? I just make sure I have it correct.
Yeah, there's a picture of these are Holly's kids. That's Riley, Tiffany.
Oh, son of a biscuit.
Amen. Well, you know what's funny? Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. That did alarm me just slightly. I get a lot of weird calls from call centers, and I was like, my eyes kind of got big, and I was like, what? Could these be prisoners? I mean, I'm kind of like, yay, good for you. But on the other hand, should they be able to use the phone? Because James was telling stories like you couldn't dial out, but you could redial. And I guess that's what Jesse would do is he would sometimes redial.
I don't even think he should have been allowed to make license plates. He should have been allowed to like make the little plastic things that go on our end of our shoelaces. like something that you can't
That's fate.
do a lot of damage. You know what I mean? I don't even want him near like the hammer or machine to make a license plate. Just if he could just something like the plastic on the end of our tennis like shoelaces. I don't know who does that, but or he should just be sweeping. That's it.
There should be no. Well, not only did he contact any, prison other than family, but he harassed the witness.
Oh my gosh, that was
All the
awful.
things that you're not supposed to do, he did and got away with, which is appalling. It's absolutely freaking appalling. Um, Let me pull up Kate's live for just a couple of minutes here. Let me go up and grab the link
I
and
can
we'll go through some of the things.
I can tell y'all what I sent Kate and Tia a picture like
Oops.
mid live, and I was like on page. I'd only typed. I already had like 1.5 pages typed on my own of other notes. I was on page 5 of trying to capture literally people's questions, the answers, everything, and I was reading back through it, and I just because I was listening and typing at the same time. And then, like when you're so busy doing that, like the busy kind of work, not that you're not paying attention, but then when you reread it afterwards, I was going just like, oh my God. I mean, I just was blown away. I can't, this was an avoidable. This
Actually,
was,
you know what we're gonna do first is we're gonna play the press conference because that did have a lot of information in it that I want to talk about, including the wink wink staging of the bodies.
can I ask you actually, if I meant to ask you this before we started, but I'm gonna ask you now. Did you catch what he said in terms of like there's no prosecute like there's like we're done? Like there can't be any prosecution. And
Who would they prosecute though in
I was
reality?
like, but I meant in terms of are you I don't know, based on how they handle some things in South Carolina right now, I would assume you can go after the people that like the system, they released them. I don't you would think there's gotta be something. I mean, I understand in
To
terms
who
of
though?
the the county and the
That's a
members
civil
of
matter.
but that's what I meant. Like I think that the way that it was stated during the press conference, and granted it was brief and kind of limited because, like you said, they didn't have everything yet. But like you said, like unfortunately, like there's nothing to be done. And I was like, I beg to differ. I think these families do have some avenues that they can pursue in terms of
But they're talking
ramifications.
about what law enforcement can do.
Uh,
That's what
mm.
he's saying. Chief.
You should never get, right, in my opinion, KK Brace, you should never get a second chance to do the same thing that you did the first time when it comes to children or crime against. Yes, I agree. When it comes to children or crimes against people against their will, especially when when you become a repeat offender in prison.
Where
in
is this?
like that takes a sick set of balls to do that in prison, and then to actually be charged while in prison yet again, and then to be let out.
Where the hell did that thing go?
Sue his
Why
mom.
can't
See,
I
I
find? Oh,
not now. Um, Sue his mom for not contacting police with his warning message to her. That's what
those
I
are
don't
civil
need.
matters, though.
Yes, I do, but I do agree. Like, yes, I understand in terms of you can't
He's
forget
talking about
Jesse.
what can they do as far as the law, and there's nothing right now that the law can do.
Like I said, I
Um,
can't. Like I think the school has grounds. I mean, I don't unless
this
they knew, unless they were aware. I would hope the administration of the school was aware of offenders within the area. Like check
well,
it
he wasn't
regularly.
listed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hi, Not Now Nana. Welcome in. He wasn't listed locally. He was on the state registry, not a local one, which is the whole problem in this whole damn thing. Like I can't make any of this. Oh, where'd that go? That's the thing. It's so hard. Like if you're talking about prosecution, that's different than like
Who right now would you like take Jesse? Like Jesse's gone. We know that right this second. But say before this had happened, if parents had found out that they're say that it didn't go to this extent, that everyone is still alive, but they find out that a registered SO
mhm.
is within, is within their neighborhood. Not only that, has access and has had access to their children, as well has been able to grace the grounds of athletic events, school events, things at the school. Who's like, who would you go if you found that out right now? Who would you go to?
Board of Education.
Okay.
I mean, you could start the school principal and go all the way up, but I mean, I wouldn't. I'd just start right at I'll be the Karen. If there's a parent who's doing this that my kid is going to school with, I'm going to the top.
Okay. I was just told you we didn't have but so much time to prepare. So I was like, I'll just ask all this on the live. That was one of the things I thought about, because I don't blame the parents at all. I mean, in terms of
Yeah.
I don't blame any of like,
Mm-mm.
I'm in no position to blame any of them, because like they said, this isn't the first time that their children have spent time with Tiffany or the family. Like they are dear friends and they've been around. Even Tiffany, like Tiffany's grandmother and grandparents knew about Ivy because they were so close, and they didn't know as much about Brittany, but they were very kind in speaking about her to say, like, if she was that close with Tiffany, she had to be a very good-hearted. I mean, there's if she's close with Tiffany, that's all we need to know. Like she expects no less. It breaks my heart.
All right, I'm going to play this if that's okay. Is it up on the screen now? Oh, yeah. Let me get the comments off. Hi, Emily. Welcome in. Thank you. We're just going to, oh, I keep hitting the wrong one. Sorry. We're going to watch this for a couple minutes. This was the chief of police on giving a presser on this, but
the spelling is JOEPRENTICE. I am police chief for the city of Okmulgee, and I also command the District 25 Violent Crime Task Force. With me is Carol Iskey, our district attorney, who sponsors the Violent Crime Task Force, and Sheriff Eddie Rice, who was one of the reporting agencies when this investigation started. I've got a brief statement that I'll read, and then I'll open it for questions and answer the questions that I can. As you know, Ivy Webster was reported missing to the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office, and Brittany Brewer was reported missing to the Henryetta Police Department on Monday morning. I received a request shortly after to activate the Violent Crime Task Force. The task force began the investigation, and as part of that, obtained a search warrant for the property on Holly Road. Because of the extremely large.
So this is one of your questions, LFT. Was it the court thing that made them go, or the missing? And it sounds like it was the missing kids that made them go to the property because they were last seen at this property.
Before you hit play again, yes, you are right, because that made sense. But then he did go to clarify even further, because I was a little confused in terms of the search warrant for property versus the residence.
There's a difference because of he doesn't have any Fourth Amendment rights. So they can search the house, but they can't search the property.
But then it was that, when they said that freshly, they found just that area of just fresh activity around dirt. That's when law enforcement went back and got the clearance to go into a search warrant for the residence and the property itself. I just retyped it out before you called me earlier, but that helped explain it as well, because I was confused.
Oh, Dawn, I like your picture. That's really pretty, actually. I know, Holly knew. And I mean, who knows what her situation was. And she was trying to get out, or we don't know what, or if she was just trapped in a terrible situation with her 3 kids.
Size of the property, we requested assistance from the OSBI. During the search, the bodies of 7 individuals were
I bet
recovered.
you're right, Russ.
All were sent to the medical examiner for autopsies, and those examinations have been completed. Scientific identification has been obtained on all 7 of the individuals, and I have information regarding their injuries. That being said, it is important to remember that all of this information is extremely preliminary, and no official reports from the medical examiner's office have been issued. The injuries include Ivy Webster suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head. Brittany Brewer suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head. Riley Allen suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head. Tiffany Guess suffered 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Michael Mayo suffered 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Holly McFadden suffered 3 gunshot wounds to the head. And Jesse McFadden appears to have shot himself in the head. Assisting the Violent Crime Task Force with the search, the crime scene, and the investigation were the following agencies: the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office, the Henryetta Police Department, Henryetta Fire Department, OSBI, ATF, and the Muskogee Nation AG's office. That concludes my statement. I will answer any questions that I can.
Chief, when do you believe that these killings happened?
I don't know. Based on the investigation, we believe that the girls were spotted in Henryetta on Saturday night. Beyond that, I can't tell.
Were the victims found in one spot?
No.
I'm dying to find out what they were doing in Henryetta with him.
Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were found separately, approximately 150 to 150 yards apart from each other.
You know that one bothers me right
Hold
there.
on. Hold on.
East of the McFadden residence.
Oh, shit. Hold on. I want to back it up
I don't
because I
have
want
any
to
evidence to indicate
hear
that,
this
but
and I want to
there's
talk
no
about
way.
this for a second. Hold on.
I don't have any evidence to indicate that, but there's no way to know.
And the other 2 victims?
Well, there's more than just 2 more. The other 4 decedents were found together approximately 450, 500 yards east and a little bit south of where the 3 girls were found. And
So one of the parents had said that, who was it? Might have been Brittany's dad, Ivy's dad. I can't remember which one. Said that they were found lined up, like almost like execution. Who were the ones found separately? It was Riley, Brittany, and Ivy that were found separate, and they were found around this pond area, whereas everyone else was found by like a wooded line, and then McFadden was found in the deep in the woods, as they say.
Wait, I thought they said that he was near, he has the other, you've got Ivy, Brittany, and Riley
right?
together, and then he said the other 4 were in the other, but kind of together out, like obviously outside of the house. Again, I've got the measurements written down, but I didn't hear that part where Jesse's by himself. I thought it was interesting that he placed himself closer to.
I thought he was in the woods somewhere. That's what I heard.
I heard. Okay. I wrote down that the phone was in the woods, but the other 4.
Hold on, let's listen.
Okay.
Was anyone able to call 911?
as far as I know, there was no 911 call made.
And do we believe that all these killings happened around the same time?
I don't have any evidence to indicate otherwise.
Chief, what led you guys to getting that search warrant? Because Emmy's office was there immediately with you guys, and you guys were doing that. Was there, you guys got the property that morning because he was the person you're looking for, stumbled across something, and then back out like normal and ask for a search warrant?
But something very similar. That morning, deputies and task force members went out to the property in an effort to see if there was anyone there. While at the property, they got no response at the door, and they observed what they believed was a freshly disturbed area of dirt in the yard or the curtilage area around the residence. They came back and reported that, and we got a search warrant for the residence and the property.
How do you trace back this gun?
I'm sorry, one at a time.
Very similar questions. How do you trace back this gun, and how did McFadden get the gun, and what kind of firearm was it?
We did conduct an e-trace on the firearm. It was a 9mm handgun, and it was purchased in January of 2022 by Holly McFadden.
When you're talking about disturbed dirt, are you talking about rates? Like a better way to put it?
That's what the concern was when it was observed. We have since discovered that the property owner, who is not the McFaddens were renting. The property owner had cleaned out a horse pen and had dumped that debris there.
So they didn't see a body and then back out?
No, no,
There weren't rates covered.
no, no.
Did McFadden leave a note?
I'm sorry?
Did McFadden leave a note?
No,
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 no.
no.
Do we believe that he executed them?
I don't know that I would use the term executed. I believe that McFadden shot all of the other decedents.
The victims having defensive wounds or anything?
I didn't observe any. I haven't had any reported to me from the medical examiner's office, but I would caution you and remind you that this information is extremely preliminary.
Chief,
Any other trauma to the body?
One at a time.
overall, what do you make of the situation? Family members tell us they believe this person planned this. I don't guess you've never dealt with anything like this before.
Several questions there. I follow the evidence, all right? And the evidence is that Jesse McFadden murdered 6 people and then killed himself. Beyond that, I don't know what his thought process was. Whether he planned this, and if he did, how long, I don't have any evidence to base an opinion one way or the other on that.
Was anyone tied up?
No.
Was there any other apparent trauma to the bodies other than these gunshot wounds?
None that I observed, but again, it's really early and I haven't gotten anything from the medical examiner's
Chief,
office.
there was a text message sent to Ivy's parents Sunday night that was odd, they said. Do we believe that was sent by Jesse?
I'm not sure I know what text message you're talking about, so I can't comment intelligently.
Were there any signs of a fight?
I didn't observe any, no.
What's your theory of motive?
I don't think I want to speculate. I'm not gonna express a theory because again, I follow the evidence and I don't have any evidence to indicate what the actual motive was. And I'm going to be honest with you folks.
Me too.
Normal people that understand care, love, compassion wouldn't understand if I could come up with it anyway.
Chief, what kind of impact does this have on law enforcement? I mean, this is now 2 weirdly similar cases that you've had to deal with in just the last 6 months.
Law enforcement is pretty resilient, and we know what we signed up for, and we play the hand that's dealt us. So when we get a call, we go. And with regard to how anyone is responding to it since the event, I don't have any indication that anybody's having any difficulties. We are conducting the follow-up investigation, which is doing some cleanup interviews and documenting everything that we discovered, just like we did in the other case.
You heard from other parents of other
No
kids
worries. Just welcome in.
that more teenagers were invited.
I don't have any information along those lines. That's first I've heard of it.
Do you think he planned this?
I don't know.
Do we know if they were doing anything when these ones happened, like an activity of some sort outside?
Wasn't anything obvious.
Do you think he acted alone?
Don't have any evidence to indicate that there was anybody else involved.
Other than McFadden's rape conviction and his pending trial with 1 charges, did he have any more recent run-ins with law enforcement that would act as warning signs?
Not that I'm aware of. Absent his lengthy prison sentence and his Muskogee County case.
How long did you know this person? Obviously, he was not a sex offender registered as someone.
Are we talking about Jesse McFadden? I personally did not know him. My understanding is he was a registered sex offender and was up to date on his registration.
So you guys had no prior calls to this house before this incident?
My agent.
Really quick. I don't know if you guys know this, but I found this out the hard way because YouTube's being an asshole right now and they're not sending out notifications. But if you guys, I put up Hooligan's channel. I noticed she did a live recently. And we need to go give that a look-see and see what's going on over in Hooligan's world. So if you guys don't mind after this and you're not doing anything, stop by Hooligans and check out her live that she did recently, I believe with Kate, if I'm not mistaken. I need to check it out myself. I'll be watching that tonight. But I did notice she did one.
I actually think I fell asleep to that a couple of nights ago.
See, would not have had any. The task force doesn't, as a matter of business, take calls for service. I would defer to the sheriff with that, and I would say that I am unaware of any others.
If you said all the victims suffered gunshot wounds to the head, did they come from the back or the front?
Some were to the side of the head, some were in the back of the head. There were injuries in the front of the head. So I would defer to the medical examiner for a firm answer on that.
Oh,
The short answer is I don't know for sure.
I know you're unsure of when exactly it happened. Is there any reason to believe that he did this and then waited a while and then killed himself later on?
Again, I follow the evidence. I don't have any evidence to indicate that. Anything is possible.
How long do you think they were at that residence? They were there gone all weekend, showed up that Monday. We haven't had yet.
My understanding is the girls were friends with Tiffany, who lived at the residence, and were allowed to go and spend the night with her on Saturday, and were supposed to come home Sunday. And when they didn't, they were reported missing. Beyond that, I don't have any information.
What were the ages of all the victims?
Bear with me. I knew there was a document I needed to bring with me. Tiffany was 13. Michael was 15. Riley was 17. Ivy was 14. Brittany was 16. Holly was 35, and Jesse McFadden was 39.
Just to confirm, the three, Riley, Tiffany, and Michael were all Holly's kids, not Jesse's.
That is my understanding. Yes.
So these were his stepkids.
Yes.
And with
Do
the
you think
four-
any recordings on his phone of his deeds or try to post anything to social media that you can determine?
We recovered one phone from the residence that we believe is Holly's. We recovered pieces of a phone from a wooded area, quite a ways from the residence. We do not know who it belonged to. If that's not his phone, we haven't located his phone.
Any other significant
Don't get me
pieces of
started on
evidence
that.
were
Oh, I'm not
the
muted.
guns and of course the bodies?
We took some other evidence, but nothing I'm willing to comment
Is there any indicator that any of the victims were drugged or anything?
on. Not that I'm aware of.
With the four family members being found together, did they appear to be sleeping?
Without going into a lot of detail, that scene appeared to be staged to me. That
Oh,
is my opinion based on what I observed.
Staged as in the bodies?
I don't want to go into details. I think the bodies had been moved from where they were originally killed.
Were they
so that frightens the hell out of me. That really frightens the hell. I'm just going to be real with you guys. Like that scares the hell. Not now, Nana. Have you seen the article talking to Riley's friends where she told them about being scared of him? No. Hey, if you have that article, would you mind sending that to us? Because I would love to see that.
Did
And
you say,
thank
I'm sorry,
you,
was that
thank you.
Ivy? Ivy?
Riley.
Right, okay.
Thank you for saying something about that. And if you don't want to send it or email, let me put our email in here. If you have it available,
Oh my God, I'm literally Googling it too now.
this is our, well, Demi, actually, there was an interview with Joe, who is Tiffany's dad, and Riley and Michael considered him their dad. They called him dad as well. There is an interview out there with Joe that is absolutely heart-wrenching.
I'll post it in the chat if anyone wants to see it.
The interview?
Yeah, the link to the one with on News Nation with Joe Guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, I mean, I caution you that his body is literally vibrating. I mean, it's not even shaking, it's just vibrating, and it's so sad. But yes, he did do an interview, and it is heart-wrenching. I don't know about
He does have
Riley.
a. Go ahead.
I don't know about Riley's biological father or Michael's biological father. I can only tell you that they called after what?
Apparently, he was going. He and Holly had a very, I think it seems, a very amicable and good communication, and he was. There had been talk and interest, even up until this point, of him still potentially adopting, even though she's remarried. Adopting Riley and Michael. That they
Because he cared for them. He was there their entire lives. He's known Michael since he was a year old, and Tiffany was his. So I think, or maybe I have that wrong, but
Michael wasn't even born. Michael hadn't even been born, I believe, when Joe came into the picture. I mean, when Joe was in the picture, Michael hadn't even been born yet. He was there when he was born. Granted, he's not the biological father, and that's
Right.
none of our business. But the point is, he had been there since you know.
Yes, he is.
Mhm.
He seems. I don't
We
know.
could just,
Broken is the easy word.
Found outside.
Yes.
But they weren't killed at the same time, and some were killed at one occasion, and just given the distance you're talking about, and traveled somewhere else.
Well, there's no way we can know certainty, but logic tells me that some were killed in an area 400 to 450 yards away from others. So yeah, there would have been some space of time there. Yes, sir.
Yes, are you certain about?
Which is terrifying.
Sex offender registry status? We intended to look him up and didn't find him there.
I am certain of what I've been told. I have not checked it myself.
Are you certain of Ruru's age? I was told by her father that she's 15.
No, I am not.
Who
certain.
cares?
That information was provided to me early on. I made a note of it, and I am not 100% certain.
That's
I
dumb.
spoke with a former victim of his who was set to testify against him and the trial he was supposed to be on Monday. And he sent her text messages or Facebook messages the night previous. Have you spoken with her? Do you know anything about those messages?
We've received copies of those text messages. He did make contact with her, and I don't think it was a text message. I think it was a Facebook Messenger message,
Mm-hmm.
and tried to lay blame for his situation on her.
So do you believe that the killings happened prior or after?
I don't have any way to know that.
You're the district attorney, correct? And this person was supposed to have a jury trial Monday?
That was in Muskogee County, correct?
Is that your
No.
jurisdiction?
Exactly.
McIntosh.
Those text messages were blaming the victim for what he had done to his.
No. My interpretation of the Facebook Messenger messages that I read was he was blaming her for his situation with the criminal case in Muskogee County.
Why is Old Mulvey police on this instead of Henryetta?
Well, first of all, the scene was outside of the city limits of either Henryetta or Okmulgee and would fall under the jurisdiction of the sheriff's office. Okmulgee Police is involved because we are part of, and I in fact command the District 25 Violent Crime Task Force, which conducts violent crime investigations in both Okmulgee and McIntosh County.
Again, with the timeline, I'm sorry, I know you don't have a lot of details, but can you give us an idea of how far apart these killings could be, or if they all happen at once?
I don't have any way to base any speculation on to give you a realistic timeline other than the distance between where the bodies were discovered. It could have happened in quick succession, or there could have been a significant amount of time between. There's just absolutely no way for us to know.
I know you mentioned it already, but I'm just trying to get clarification. Can you explain again where the bodies were found and how close they were? It kind of sounds like maybe 3 were found close together, and then the other 4 were found like 2 different groups.
Yes, that's correct. From the McFadden residence, which is probably 100 yards off the road, approximately a quarter mile south and east of the residence, there is a creek. And the creek is within a tree line, but just barely. Ivy was found on the west side of that creek, approximately 100 to 150 yards away. Brittany was found. Approximately another 100 to 150 yards away, Riley was found, and they were both on the east side of the creek. Then the other 4 decedents were all found together approximately another quarter mile more east than south, but southeast of where the 3 girls were found in a heavily wooded area.
So they're found further away.
Yes.
Chief, what kind of impact does a tragedy like this have on the community?
Well, part of the problem that the community suffers with something like this is everybody wants to understand why. And like I said before, normal people can't understand why. People that perpetrate crimes like this are evil. And normal folks like us can't understand why they do that. So I think that besides the emotional trauma that people suffer because of the realization of what happened to these young kids, trying to figure out why is a challenge they'll never get past.
Was there anybody at the scene before all this happened that you've been able to turn to who wasn't killed, or everybody who was there?
I have no evidence that anyone was at the scene leading up to the murders that was not killed.
Do you have any information? Was his residence just search probation?
I want to hear where he was.
I don't have any information at all along those lines.
I agree.
All bodies were closed.
I know I think this was asked, but I was just asking because, I mean, 6 people to shoot and kill, do you think that the three girls were trying to run away? Any indicator that anyone tried to run away? That just seems like so many people to try to do that to without someone getting away.
You're having the same difficulty that we have trying to figure out exactly what happened, because all we have is where the bodies were positioned and the injuries to them to try to indicate what happened. And there's just no way to know.
We're trying to rationalize stupid. That's what we're doing.
No way to know that.
And what is the district attorney's role in this? Now that
This is my task force.
Really want to know where he was.
Based on information that we have available to us currently, we don't think they ever went to McAllister.
How did you all figure out that they didn't ever do this?
The property in McAllister belongs to Jesse McFadden's family members, and we interviewed them, and they were cooperative and told us that they had never come down there. They hadn't come down there that weekend.
are there any security or gaming cameras on the property that possibly captured him?
Not that I've been made aware of.
Do you know when he dropped the car to his neighbor? I mean, what was the last sighting?
I believe he was sighted in Henryetta proper Saturday night. When I can't tell you when he dropped the car or why. Anything I tell you, be a guess.
So he was sighted with the girls then?
Yeah. I really need to see
Henrietta
all my
with Brittany and Ivy.
Mhm.
And we don't know of anyone else.
No, they continually, I did a little bit of research on that and everything based on police, Chief Prentice's statement, the alerts and everything initially is that the girl, basically, it was just the two girls spotted in Henrietta with Jesse. I'm
All right,
dropping
folks.
another
I
link
really
for people
appreciate
in
your
chat.
time. Thank you. And
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Sorry. Typically when there's homicides, murders, someone goes on trial. This someone is now deceased. What's next in this investigation to figure out what happened to bring things closure? What's next?
we have been in contact with the families and have shared information. In fact, we met with the families today prior to this press conference to give them the information that we gave you all, so they would hear it from us and not from the news media. Again, there are
Too bad
questions
half
that will
the
never
family
get
learned
answered
out
because the only
on
people
social
that
media.
know are here.
Mhm.
We will continue to document everything that we have found and anything that we discover in follow-up interviews moving forward and generate a report. We will submit that report to the district attorney's office for her review as a formality because there is no prosecution to be had here.
Can you describe the reaction of the families when this information was?
Today, I was not present, so I'm not sure. Yes, sir.
Just for the purposes of our understanding, do you think you might be able to help us out and give and present some type of map of the crime scene?
Oh, we should probably give it a thumbs up since we're sharing it. Okay, we'll do that.
Currently, I don't have one for you. At some point in the future, crime scene investigators will map it. I have no idea how long that will take. You bet.
At this point, has the case been removed as a murder suicide?
At this, we don't ever.
Hey, Chief, why don't you just give us the coordinates? We'll take care of that for you real fast and for free.
Mhm. Because you
Can you
irritated
just-
us for a hot minute.
Yeah, just give us the info, dude.
Just rule it.
Which, P.S., I like this guy. I think that if he knew the answer, he'd give us the answer. I truly do, except on some things, which are really important. But I do like him as far as information. He's pretty forthright with the information. I got to give it to you, Chief.
Case, to use your term. But we don't have any evidence to believe that it's anything other than 6 murders and a suicide.
Thank you, Chief.
In closing, what's your message to parents? This has affected so many people. We've heard from victims' families, but no idea of this person's convictions, previous history. What's your message? And it sounds like I don't know if it was legally available out there. What's your message to parents?
I want to be clear. All right. I do not believe that the parents of Brittany or Ivy did anything wrong, and they are devastated by the loss of their children. That being said, I don't think you can be too careful with your kids. Know where they're going and who they're going to be with. All right, folks. Thank you.
Well, now, I thought it was here that he said that. I guess I was wrong.
Which
Okay,
said
Grandma
what?
Sherry.
Which one were you looking for?
Hold on one second. Grandma Sherry, thank you just for being here as long as you have been. I've been really happy to see you. Hi, Annie. It's good to see you. I'm going back and checking. Sorry. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they give us that. I'm going back in chat. Sorry. He did take all the answers with him. Ugh. Well, and I had your comment up there earlier because as a country, we need to hold these people responsible. We need to hold these people responsible because this was preventable on a number of levels. And if that means holding Oklahoma and whoever responsible, we need to do that. His mom should be held responsible if it's true, and we don't know, but if it's true that he told her that he was going to do this and the mother did nothing, then there should be some repercussions there as well. Not that she doesn't have her own to live with the scum sucking pigs that she's raised. I don't know what kind of person she is, but I don't know if you've heard about Jesse's adorable brother who likes to put women in dog cages and then use axes on the dog cage. Just horrible. I don't know how you have two monsters in one family. That's a hell of a family. I mean, what do you talk about at your Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, I agree with that statement, but I have to admit, after I know you and I both looked at it, but in terms of looking at these two boys in particular, looking at their history, no, that's not even. I don't know how you have two monsters in one family. I don't know how you let it go on as long as you did, because it's it's heartbreaking and sickening when you look at their histories. And I don't have to. I don't mean to judge the parents, but I can call a spade and say, there's a thing as tough love, and you don't understand that wanting to believe that your child might be capable of something. But I think Crystal summed it up. I think it was Crystal last night. I had literally, hopefully I'll get this right. She said, what, spending time, getting 20 to 20 plus years in prison on a false accusation,
It
like
doesn't happen.
question mark. No, there's no. Um, and the fact that it was a repetitive behavior.
Mhm.
Seriously, look back, like the brother. Well, actually, I'll say it. Cody's charges almost scared me sometimes more than Jesse's. Looking back at the history.
Well, I think they're equally just as bad. I don't think that they're better or worse. I think they're equally just as horrendous. They're violent. Their tendencies are sick. And as far as I can dig another
K-Brace,
hole.
I'm so sorry. K-Brace, I looked some of that up, and Tia did as well, because we were very curious in terms not only about having firearms or, certain things within a house of a felon, but it was also, in terms of, are you permitted to be around, the children and stuff like that. Yes, in Oklahoma, if what was it, Tia? Like if biological or
Mhm,
married into, as
mhm.
long and everyone I believe is of something. There was something about of age, but I don't think it was in terms of him being married to Holly and being around her children legally. No, I don't think he was, from what I've seen, breaking any. She was aware, he was aware, everything like that. That is legal. The firearm thing that did get me, because it can't. One thing said it couldn't be within X number of feet of something.
Well, a felon can't own a gun.
Well, and he never did, but he's not supposed to be within a residence. One
Right.
thing that, yes. And for her to purchase one in January of 2022, that made me think, like, I wondered if she did that out of fear, like her own gut instinct to go get one. or was that something that Jesse
Did he
kind
have
of-
her do that? He
Mhm.
no, he had her under some serious mind games. So she was mentally trapped. Let's just call that what it is. Um, I thank God for her family, and I say this with all the love in my heart. They sound like incredible people. They sound amazing. And I'm so sorry for their loss because it sounds like they tried to do as much as they possibly could. Oklahoma has an association you can reach. Oh, her family was interviewed and said that Cody's charges was recent, like police went there and found him in a cage.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. He did. He did. He he mind screwed everyone that
Oh.
he was with. Everyone. I mean, that's one of the things that James said was he was, when I asked James, what was he like? What was it like to share a cell? I mean, the first thing out of his mouth is he was so weird. And it actually still, to this moment gives me chills the way that James said it. The way that he
Wait.
says weird skeeved him out so badly that it gave me chills.
But he knew, like, and he also, my impression was that he knew enough to, like, kind of go with the flow. Like, don't, like, you are aware of it, internally, like, of the weirdness and whatnot. And you just kind of self-protect and kind
Kate,
of
I
go
spoke
with
with
the flow.
Holly's aunt.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to just make it bigger. Sorry.
And the other thing I wanted to say real fast, okay, do we hit play? Sorry, I might be delayed. Was that I do think in terms of Holly's family, it was once they were like gradually became aware of changes in Holly, like in behavior of the grandkids and their access to them, because I think they have been supportive of Holly and all those children throughout their entire
Well, the
lives.
kids
You know what I mean?
lived with them.
Them. When I was trying to think about how impactful this was for them or how they managed this, because not only are they finding out things, on their independently about Jesse, but you have to do it. You have to then be able to address that in a way and balance it when you if you speak to Holly, they don't want to rock the boat so much that all of a sudden they lose all contact.
You're going
And I
robotic.
had to,
This is Kate's live from last night. Burden of proof, James, myself, obviously the beautiful Kate. Kate does crime. Sorry, you totally went robotic. Let me hit the play on this for just a couple of minutes. I want you guys to get the gist of this if you didn't see it. I took the chat down, and I try to do that when we're showing other people's lives. I do that for a reason, for privacy, because not everybody who's in a chat wants another. I don't know. I just do it for privacy reasons. But here you go.
Earlier, and I wanted to tell her this before I said this to anybody. Me and Jesse become cellmates. I'll kind of get into that here in just a little bit. But to clarify the Holly Jesse situation, he left in 2015. That he left that prison and went to another prison, the one that he was at whenever he got caught sexting that underage girl. He left the prison that we were at together October of 15, and about December of 2015, I got a couple letters. One of them from Holly, one of them from another girl that I used to be in communications with at one point, and
Kate's kicking in.
said, "Hey man," or "Hey James, this guy started writing me letters. He's kind of weird. He said he knew you, that y'all were friends and this and that." So long story short, he at some point when he was in the cell by himself while I wasn't there, he went through my things and stole some addresses out of my address book. One of them being Holly.
Wow.
And and I didn't want to bring that up because I wanted to talk to Holly's family before I did, just because, there is like a slight, not a slight, there's a feeling of guilt on my part. You know what I mean? Just because
yeah. Well, it's not your fault, but I know,
and I don't want nobody to ever try to twist it around and be like, oh, this and that, because I know how some people are. I know you three are not that way, but you know, there are people out there that do some crazy shit. So
Oh, we know.
yeah, you know more than I do probably. So anyway, that is how, you know, that's how creepy he was. That's how weird he was, you know?
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
James,
strange.
I have a question, and I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Um, so you were his cellmate for how long?
Probably about 16 months, between a year and a half.
What was your
Somewhere
opinion
around
of
there.
him?
Say that again.
What was your opinion of him?
Um, he is one of the weirdest people I've ever met in my life. He
Really?
made such a big impact on my life that when I got out, I looked him up because I knew he got those charges. I was at, you know, a different prison from him, but I saw him come across the news saying, "Oh, this inmate had a phone, sending explicit pictures to this underage girl. Her grandpa found the phone." You know the story, or you know part of the story. So when I got out, I was like, you know, I wonder, you know, where this guy is. I want to know whatever happened with those charges. And so I was looking him up, and I found that he did get out about 6 months before I did, but he still hadn't faced these charges. He was like out on bond,
Yeah.
and so I was keeping up with it, looking. You know, the court date kept getting pushed off. I know all these things. I saw it, looked at it, downloaded some PDF files of like what was going on in the courtroom, like court minutes or whatever. And anyway, one time when I looked it up, or February of this year, I looked it up to go see what was going on, and there was a marriage certificate of Jesse McFadden and Holly Guess, and that's Holly.
Mhm.
And so I was in the garage and I bolted into the house and was telling my girlfriend, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." Um, you know, at that point in time, I felt some type of responsibility for her being married to this guy. You know what I mean? And not that she married him because she didn't want to. Obviously, that's not the truth. But
But
I
in your
just
heart,
knew,
you knew he was like a creepy guy.
I
And
knew it. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
Do you hear how he says it? Like, I knew it. Like the way he says weird, like he was weird. So it gives me the chill. Oh, Demi, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. Oh, it is so hard. It is so hard. And K-Braze, let me tell you a little thing or two. You would have the most amazing channel because people absolutely love you. And that's what mods are for, is to keep the bad people from coming in. So I suggest you make that channel yesterday and all of us will support you. And that would be amazing. That's what I have to say about that. I know LFT would say yes too. The K-Braze, go for that. You get more good than bad. Let's put it that way. And we have met the most amazing people, including you. So let's talk about that channel. I don't want to play the whole thing because I really, really want everyone. Let me get this off.
Did you talk about this stuff, like how intuitive James was as well, in terms of like, because for the record, Jesse was then moved to a different correctional facility,
Mhm.
and talk about gut instinct and how manipulative and self-serving Jesse was. Um, all articles, and I think James said the same thing, that Jesse kind of kept like a clean, like good behavior um, in front of officers and whatnot, but you knew to side eye him.
You're
And so
completely robotic again. Go back to where you were. It was working. Run to the kitchen. Thank you. Not now, Nana. I really appreciate that. And thanks, Nay. um, I want to play all of Kate's because it was so damn good, but I really want you guys to go watch it. Even if you watched it the first time, watch it again. It deserves it. Kate deserves it. These women deserve it. And James deserves it. And we're doing this for the right reasons. We're listening to them for the right reasons. Also, K-Braze, look at all this support you're getting. I believe Jen said do it. Who else? Wheelby. I never engage on purpose with the negativity. The problem I have is since I've been on YouTube, there's always two sides to a story. There are two sides to a story, but the beautiful thing is when you have your own channel, it's your house and people have to wipe their feet when they come in, sit down and behave themselves, or your mods like the beautiful Nadie, Crazy Mama, and all of our ass kickers. They'll boot that negativity right out so you can keep the positive going, my friend. And you know what? You don't have to do true crime. You can do whatever you can talk about shit. You can talk about cars the way you work. God, you could instruct people how to fix a damn car in 20 minutes. That was amazing.
Now, how much do you charge for like a video session, like one-on-one?
Jeez, wasn't that amazing?
No, I haven't fixed it
He
yet,
was
but
on
no,
StreamYard talking to us and totally diagnosed LFT's car over the phone, completely had it down, like parts, the whole thing. So brilliant mind. And we love you. But anywho, getting back to this.
I had a question.
Keep back up.
I had a question.
Ask away.
Well, before my question, I was finishing my comment, just that James was smart enough to like go through the cell that they shared to make sure that douchebag that just left and was transferred to another prison didn't screw him over, by leaving contraband, anything within, he did.
Well, he said he did. He told him, he was like, you want this thing? I'm not going to say what it is, but he was like, I'll leave this thing for you if you want. And it was a DVD. And poor James is like, no, man, no.
But it concerned him enough to go check after he left.
Hi, beautiful. It is so good to see you. Thank you for coming in. We miss you and we love you. Thank you for being here. She does have the sexiest thing. You got to pay to see those bitches, though. She's not giving that shit away for free. Yeah, look at this. Kay Rays, you got to start your channel. Look at this. You have all these people. We all want to help you succeed. We'll help you research. Will help you. Hey, Lori.
Hey, Lori.
Oh, thank you. Okay, not now, Nana. Let's see if I can.
Can I go to my other question before I lose service
Hell
or
yeah.
my earbuds crap out? And am I the only one that's bothered by, well, actually, there's several things, but the cell phone things is driving me nuts. I know there's a supposed, we believe on Friday that it was Holly's family that got a message right from Holly's phone or something like, oh crap, dropped our phones and it's like, it's not phone singular, it's phones plural in a mud puddle.
All of our phones.
All of our phones. Okay, so I'm assuming that's okay. Let's go with that's Friday. Let's go with that. Also, we know the kids did not have to be in school Friday, but it was still a school day, but they could do virtually. So, do it from home. The indication from what I've gathered from Ivy's parents as well as Brittany's was that they then went to go to Brittany's to spend the night and the rest of the weekend with Ivy and with Tiffany and everyone, over there, like, early Saturday or, sometime one was earlier than the other on Saturday. My issue is that they had spent Friday night. They all had phones. Where the hell are their phones?
Well, that's what they haven't talked about yet.
And you've got to be able to figure out, it kind of goes back to just, I don't mean not comparing it, and good Lord, I know not to go down that road, the Murdoch thing, but in terms of the activity on the kids' cell phones specifically, like when did that all stop? And especially Ivy and Brittany's. And they've only recovered 2 phones. And technically Ivy and Brittany weren't with Jesse and Holly and those 3 children Friday when that message was sent about the phones being dropped in the puddle. So where the hell are Brittany and Ivy's phones, and what data does it show?
Well, hopefully we'll find out.
Did I rush that loud enough before my internet or earbuds cut out?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to show, I did receive the, from Not Now Nana. Hi, Lynn. It was not all him, Tiffany. I know. Mm-hmm.
What?
I'm just reading, sorry. I'm going to show these in 1 second. I want to make sure that I copy them into so that I don't dox
Okay.
anybody.
What was my other question? My other thing was I said,
Nana,
well,
was
she's
it
doing-
two? Not now, Nana. Was it 2 screenshots or 3? 1, 2. Looks like 3. Oh,
the other thing I had the issue with, okay, my first thoughts went to the electronics. And then the fact that it was Tiffany, and Tiffany, had invited, well, we know that apparently Jesse was. What?
I said muck.
Oh, I thought you said look. Oh, Muck, are you so excited to hear my voice? I know how aggravating it is.
Oh, stop it.
No, that's it. He fist bump. I think you get it.
He loves
That,
you.
I know by that comment, he was like, I don't know how you put up with her.
I don't either. We'll do it.
That's
right.
on y'all. That's y'all's own issue. That's not mine.
So we're going to show these screenshots really quick.
But my other thought was with Riley being found with Brittany and Ivy, not Tiffany. I would have expected. I don't know why. So, and if you're going to stage potentially or self-inflict upon yourself potentially closer to the other members of your family, why? I think the Tiffany, the switching of the Tiffany and Riley thing just kind of blew my mind, because that was not what I expected in terms of the relationship with those kids, like their friends. And
all right, well, let's talk about this, because this was just sent to us from Not Now Grandma. She sent the Not Now Nana and Grandma Sherry. Let's talk about the two of them. Can you guys see this okay? Hang on, I gotta grab a drink. I don't know if he was cereal or just I don't know. I don't believe so, Lori. I don't think he was a cereal. So these look like they were from Facebook. Let me make it bigger. This girl says, Riley was my best friend and she has always been there for me when I felt upset. Can someone please tell me why this happened? Someone else said, I just seen this today. I cried for a while. I went to elementary and middle school together. She tried telling the school about this and they didn't believe her. Oh, we got problems, boys and girls. Another person said it's something you possibly have seen in one of those TV shows you might have seen. Thank God that won't ever happen here. Happened to me, and here it is. I've tried telling the school what she told me, and they ignored it. What? Bailey, wait, let me go down further. Hold, please. Let's make this one bigger. Whoopsie, sorry. I know it's so hard because she's been having a hard time and no one ever cared except her friends and all of us. They thought she was lying, even though I watched her cry and seen the fear she had. I wish they would have helped her and her family a lot sooner. I remember seeing her at the fireworks show in the park and I gave her a hug because I missed her so much. She was my first best friend and I remember her always having my back. And I promised to never leave her side and I'd always have her back. We was like sisters, and she was the sister I always wanted. I just I just hope that in heaven she'll find peace. I hope that when she looks down on us, she'll have a smile on her face. We love and miss her, Riley Allen. Your little sis will always love and miss you. Says, yes, I miss her so much. I can't believe all of this. The world is going to shit, literally. She told the school, and the school didn't do anything. Seriously? Wait, Annie, I'm behind. Sorry, I'm reading this through my tears. Did his cellmate say Holly wrote him asking about him and the man was eventually... Yes, Annie, you're right. There were signs. Again, this is fucking preventable.
I said the same.
Kids told people, and
This is a sign of a much bigger issue. It's so this small in terms of the issue at hand. This one event that was avoidable is a very small part of a much bigger issue. It doesn't take away from the effects of this one small thing, because
correct.
that's called bullshit. You can't do it. Don't even try to take away from it. But this one event is that small fish in a big effing pond, in my opinion. And those small events are going to continue adding up until the bigger issue is addressed. And I know it's hard, and it's not just Oklahoma, and it's not hell. It's just not even the United States. But
I'm going to tell you one thing, Henryetta, Oklahoma. You got one hell of a problem on your hands now, because Decipher's on this, and I won't shut the fuck up about it. Because now that I know that these kids tried to get help and you ignored them, that's a bigger problem.
Not only
when a
that,
child goes to a school, and I'm seeing elementary and middle school, I'm seeing young. When a child goes to a school and asks for help and you do nothing, this is on you. This is on any person who knew about this and did nothing. This is all on you. I blame you. And I will hold you responsible, not just McFudden, but anybody anybody who knew about this. Right. It's your I'm sorry, you guys.
well, the fact that
really
no,
worked up over this stuff, but you're a mandated reporter. You have to report that stuff. Who? I literally want to know who. Oh, Nate, good night. I love you so much. Call me tomorrow when you get off work. I want to know how you're doing.
that was so funny.
I just can't. Y'all have a big problem because I have a big mouth, and I'm going to keep talking about this because this is not okay.
Not only that, I wish we knew the minute marks to tell. Actually, that's on me because I didn't write it down. But that other victims had already gone to the alerted law enforcement, went to the district attorney and alerted them that they were getting messages from Jesse when they should not have been. He was not supposed to be in contact with anybody, and they all alerted them.
You all failed these people. Every single one of you failed these children who had a future. Every single one of you. Sleep well tonight. Fucking sleep well. Because you know what? I couldn't sleep well. If someone came to me and said anything about anything regarding a child, I wouldn't sleep. And knowing that this happened, I certainly wouldn't freaking sleep. Monumental screw up is an understatement. 6 people lost their lives. And a 7th piece of shit just took care of himself. So I don't really care about him. I just, and to know that she was frightened, but what scares me is the reason she was frightened. Because did he do things to her? You know, did he? He was there with her. She got pulled out of school.
I don't understand that. I mean, I do. I do.
I understand it in the sense that if Holly was afraid. I do. I understand it in the sense that if Holly was afraid, then I what are you gonna do?
But I understand that because I think that's what I was going back in terms of Holly's family. Like, and I think Holly was realizing more like, oh fuck, excuse my French.
Hi, Eva.
Sorry if I just screwed us over. Sorry, but I meant like I think she was realizing too, like, crap. Like this is a little like something's not right here. But at the same time, she has to balance that entire situation without offending or provoking further or causing more trauma. You know what I mean, or more anger or whatever. Who knows what it is? Same way as Holly's parents were in terms of because like Tia's right, and I believe I forgot. I don't want to misquote the interview, but I believe it was News Nation and maybe even like Fox 23 and someone else did it when they spoke to Holly's mother when she said, you know, they essentially helped raise those children and even kind of attempted to relocate or have a residence close nearby to where the kids were in Henryetta once, Jesse and everything came along. But you're running the risk of losing because they've all said it, the whole dynamics changed, gradually changed. And so you have to.
Well, it couldn't have been
It's a
very gradual.
hard.
It had to be pretty quick. It had to be pretty quick because they
I-
moved in
you
together. They met. They moved in together. They met
you
in,
you
I
would
think,
think, but they got
December, and they moved in together in January. They married in
in May.
May, and now not even a year later, they're all deceased. So it's pretty freaking crazy how fast it happened.
But at the same time, so like, but yes, a year can fly by quickly. But say so, but and they weren't aware yet of the charges and in Jesse's history. But I think as they were gradually catching on to, before they even knew of his history, they were catching on to like they're being cut off. So you have to balance that because you run a freaking huge risk of losing a
I
connection
know.
to your everyone. And so you have to kind of,
Yeah.
it's like you're playing that like middleman and trying to balance it. And that's one thing. But so if you already have that and the parents have spoken up, in terms of Holly's parents and some other and the victims' parents, but then you have other victims themselves, even before this happened, having the balls and the courage and the strength to be like, oh my God, hey, FYI, remember this case that I finally had the guts and the strength enough to come to you with and that we are pursuing? I've heard from him. Hey, I want to send you this. I found out that he has social media. How the hell he has social media?
No one cared because everyone did
No
report
one.
it. That's the problem. No one cared. No one did anything about it. All the reportings that they did, no one did anything.
Mm-hmm.
So what about now, Oklahoma? What are you going to do now?
Well, nothing.
I
Because
disagree. They can answer. They can answer some questions. They can answer some tough ass questions. They can be put in the spotlight
that's
for
where I
failure.
said, like, I think I typed in Kate's chat towards the end of last night. I was literally to the point, like, I hope the damn school, every parent at that school starts screaming. I don't care. Even like they
I
don't.
hope every individual that lives in the county screams. I don't even want the people in the school. Just those people in the school protect your kids.
I know,
Protect your
but
own
those
kids.
And those poor, I mean, if he wasn't registered, if he wasn't showing up locally in terms of,
He
their
wasn't.
local vicinity, if he wasn't showing up locally in terms of their vicinity, and they have a relationship with Holly and the children and her children that are members of, elementary to fucking high school, I don't care what it is, and they're going to events and doing stuff, and they find out that this man, and this is not on Holly, this is on the system and Jesse. He's been there. He picks them up from school. Hell, he went, like the parents said,
Well, in
things
that
that-
aspect, that is on Holly, and I'm not calling her out to be mean, but for whatever reason, she chose to not. And we don't know what her situation was, but she chose not to say anything either. And that's a really tough situation. We don't know. And I struggle. Let's put it that way. I struggle because as James says, she was easily influenced. I think what he's trying to say politely and be a gentleman about the whole thing is that she wasn't a very strong individual. Maybe she wasn't as strong as other people would be. Maybe she was scared.
And then if you're scared and then you realize things are actually kind of going well, you know what I mean? Maybe not well, but things seem to be okay. Like, look, like he's being, he's everything, like until this point, I'm assuming, and I'm going to give maybe an ounce of grace here because I don't know, but I'm assuming up until this point, things have been okay. There wasn't anything like in terms of Ivy and Brittany coming over. They've been there before. They've gone weekends with them before. They've gone to the property in McAllister with them before. They knew this. Like they've been there and like they said, I don't want to use the quote unquote without incident because I despise that terminology.
Want to hear why the father wasn't around, but Joe was around. Now, I'm not sure about the other father, and I can't speak to that yet because we haven't done any research on him, but Joe was around, and the other kids did call him dad.
I do know.
And he was trying really hard.
I know a little bit about it, but
to me, hold on. I reported a student was being physically abused to CPS, or CPS checked it out, did nothing. And my sweet little boy came back even with welts. Oh my God, Demi, I'm so sorry.
It breaks my heart. Well, that makes me think too. I wonder in terms of pulling Riley out of school. Do you know what I mean? I wonder if that was like so abrupt. I wonder if teachers noticed anything or even right before they pulled her out, to homeschool or whatnot, or to do schooling all from home. If her teachers noted any slight change in her behavior or her
Carolyn didn't even
demeanor.
give a shit. Because these kids are saying they told people at school and they didn't care. Oh, loneliness makes you do things you wouldn't normally do. I think that's a big part of it, K-Braze. I think fear does too. I think that's a really interesting statement. I'm kind of just taking that in. And Annie, no.
Well, couple K-Braze's statement with someone who is a pretty talented manipulator and chameleon who can make himself all the things that you're in need of, maybe potentially when you're lonely. He was able to, I don't know, to admit and to like he was just like, hey, I'm just going to act, God, it's even as I'm sitting here thinking about it, because I'm trying to think like someone would, it's like a sick way to think because it is manipulation and you're capitalizing on someone's vulnerability. You are capitalizing on someone to further your own needs and wants.
But that's what he did every time he took advantage of another human being. He capitalized on their weakness. That's what he did. That's what a narcissistic pig that he is did.
Do we know if he was ever before? Actually, I don't think we do. I don't think I meant, oh, this is when I meant to type to
You
you
got to
and
finish
Kate
the
last
question
night.
because I don't know the answer.
I meant to type this to you and Kate last night. I wanted to know, by any chance, did the people on panel, the guests, did anyone know, had Jesse been in any other significant relationships prior to Holly? Like, I mean,
Yeah, in jail.
no, I mean, even before, you know what I mean? Like,
But he was in jail for 20 years and he was 39. So, I mean, he was pretty young when he went to jail. So I would say probably not. Probably nothing long term.
actually, that's true because what I believe it was Crystal, and
Mhm.
I'm not like, even when she was okay. So she is just a few years younger than. So okay, so this behavior for him certainly started in his, it seems like late teen, early, like that kind of years. Is that right? Am I thinking that right in my head because of how old she was?
He
Remember
was
when?
19, I believe, when it happened, or
Okay.
somewhere around there. And she was the girl. I'm just going to refer to her that because I don't want to keep saying her name, but was 16.
I sound like a
And right,
squirrel.
you're right. Some people just need a roof over their head and will do just about anything. True story. Yes, Riley did have a boy that she was texting, but was pulled out of school for doing so. And he was the one supposedly who was homeschooling her, which is interesting because I'd like to know what he was doing for a job.
Well, remember he said he had, well, depending on what resource you look at, he said he had a great marketing job. I swear to gracious, if he is referring to the telemarketing
The
cold calling,
telemarketing, I think that's
I will
exactly.
blow my gasket because
Mhm.
okay. Otherwise, he was an independent contractor. So
Well,
that amazing life that
me
you
too.
built for yourself, that amazing life that you built, your marketing career that you built for yourself, you
Me too,
piece
Lynn.
of you piece of nonsense. You did that in prison because that was like one luxury and one benefit as they try to rehabilitate people who want to correct their wrongs. That's part of that. Do not put that on your resume, is what I'm saying, Jesse McFadden. Don't put
Yeah, she was.
no.
I saw that she was in insurance too. I saw that I have to see if she was a licensed agent. That'll be
I think
interesting.
I think she was. I thought, oh, well, you would know more than I would. But I did see that too about her doing the insurance. But I thought it was up until, you know, right? Like just until
Mhm.
recently. That was what. Okay.
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
Um, I
So they
have
have.
I have Kate's live linked. Please make sure you guys go and watch that. We're going to be live tomorrow night discussing more of this, and probably having more of an open dialogue. I want to hear from you guys tomorrow as well. So, if you want to come up with questions or you want to come up on panel, you can do that. K-Braze, anybody. If you heard some information and you want to discuss it, or you just have feelings about the case and you want to talk about that, we can do that.
Also, Wheel and anyone else, I'll do a community post in a little while, but I've been meaning to do it for 2 days now. Sorry, transitioning. Murdoch. Have y'all seen the latest? And it's exactly what we've all thought and we
Oh yeah,
discussed.
you can go ahead and talk about that.
I think we knew that. I think at least Tia, I think, thought the same thing. Like we knew it was kind of coming because there were, in terms of Gloria Satterfield, even though they've made progress on that front, we've always known that 911 calls, statements made by Alec, they did not match. And he has now admitted he's lied.
Because Alec is
He
the
admitted
worst person on the planet. And also, like McFarthead, likes to re-victimize his victims too. So he's decided to re-victimize Gloria Satterfield's sons.
Not only that, to bring in the aspect of like the whole insurance thing, and that's one thing I've dug pretty deep. Or well,
His family
it's
actually owns the
that's
property.
actually LFT flat out loud. I have not dug. I've read a lot. Well, I've sorry, I've
That's
had a bit of a
mine.
week. I have had a bit of a week, so I've read a lot, but I haven't. I don't know how much I've retained, but I can tell you, I'm not really shocked that this has happened, but I am a little shocked that it came out right now. And the insurance, the insurance aspect of it, in terms of them speaking out, being like, we don't know anymore.
Because
They're
they
like,
want
well,
their money.
technically,
You just
because then they're
got
like,
them at $1
yeah,
million.
but also
You
technically,
think, how about
yeah,
you pay
you
me
didn't
too?
give them any money. Alec took
Mhm.
the money that the checks you wrote did not go to the
Good
victims,
boy. So right.
and
So
he
Alec can pay
manipulated
them back.
he had manipulated the whole damn thing. He
Mhm.
manipulated the whole incident, which is, I think, what we all agree that we thought he was guilty of from the get-go. Not that he,
Mhm.
harmed her. I put that aside for a minute because I can't even go there. But this, I just realized how deep of taking advantage, the depths of the advantage he took in dealing with the Satterfields is much deeper than I wanted to believe. And he's come out and it's proven. I mean, it's in the statements. And it's to the point where you have two different judges going, I call bullshit.
Mhm.
You have screwed yourself over, sir.
Hi,
And
Kez. I love you,
Fleming and
and I hope you're
Lafitte are
feeling
even in
better.
more trouble too now because I know it's coming back to them as well. So I don't know.
Why didn't
I
you
feel like
start
we'll
admitting to
be.
stuff you don't already know? Exactly, K-Rays. Exactly.
Sorry, I just had to mention it because I know we'll. I I mean, I fully admit it. I watch it. I keep up with it every day because I'm not even the best at, no, I am not the best at math, but the financial thing has me so engrossed that it's, instead of reading a book at night, I'm like on the iPad reading like news articles about stuff because I'm just genuinely, I am so intrigued and yet baffled and genuinely just want to understand. And it's gripped me in a way that I never expected. But y'all, please keep an eye out on it. I've actually created a playlist that it says to post on
Mhm.
so that we can do it. Um, so if anyone who is still interested or still kind of even quasi following anything South Carolina Murdaugh related, the
Hi, Neatfoot, you
make
beautiful
sure someone can
creature.
do their due diligence. And if you can,
Hold on one second. Did Melissa unchain you from the attic? Because I don't know what you're doing out. Shh, don't tell her. We'll hide you over here.
she
You're
must have
safe.
won trivia. My guess is she did well in trivia.
Welcome in. It's so nice to see you. And
You too.
Kez, I know that you haven't been feeling well. So if everyone could please send some love and healing prayers to Kez, I would really, really personally appreciate it. Does anyone know why Steven's case got so quiet? Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I know we're all still a little interested in Murdaugh. Steven's case got quiet right now. I think because we won't tell her. Shh, don't anyone tell Melissa Jade we're talking about her. Melissa Jade, we're talking about you. By the way, Melissa Jade, you're adorable. Go subscribe to her if you're not. She's
White
tons of
Claw.
fun. um, what was I? So does anyone know why Steven's case got so quiet? Steven's case is quiet because there's undercurrents going on right now. And I'm fingers crossed that we get some autopsy results in the next. I'm
I think
really
they
gonna
came in. I think
Well,
they could know.
I'm really hoping 7 days, but I'll say 14 for good measure. But I'm really hoping in the next 7 days we get some kind of update on that. Now with that is going to come. I'm telling her first chance I get, muck voice. So do you
Do
want?
it. Do it.
I am hoping that SLED has made some headway. I'm hoping that Eric Bland has made headway with Stephen's case. I know that I absolutely positively know that there's things going on because I have kept up. We constantly keep up with Stephen's case. We just haven't talked about it a lot. But like I said, I'm really, really hoping that there's some news in the next 7 to 14 days about the autopsy. That would be amazing. Everybody
That
go say hi to
and
Melissa Jade.
oh, sorry. Are they all?
I don't know if
they're
she's
all
on or not. She was on earlier. But
But I wanted to say, in terms of the real fast, in terms of Stephen and let's just call it South Carolina Murdoch crap. I mean, or it's not crap. It is. I don't even know what the word is for it. But I wanted to say I was re-listening to some of this stuff because I know we've talked about, the persons of interest, that were listed. And I have to admit, I don't count them out yet because, we're still, oh God, some of the connections. If y'all, one day I hope we publish all of our notes of just everything because it would just almost be a great coffee table book to see
I
like the bullet.
agree, Demi.
Just
That would be such a nice Mother's Day gift, wouldn't it?
Exactly. But I agree with something that Sandy said because, and I know she's having to go a little bit too on faith, that this time is everything's genuine in terms of law enforcement, their actions and their
Let's hope
pursuit.
this time is different. Yeah.
But I have to say that one thing she said, and it was the Murdoch, we all know, post the link, the Murdoch Murders podcast, and Fitz News, and actually, the Greenville, the one that's Matt, what's his name? The reporter that's so great, the local one.
The Islander?
Is it? No, I thought he did Greenville.
All right, whatever. We'll post
But you
that.
know who I'm talking about, like the one, DeWitt. Is that his name?
I'm sorry. I have the Oklahomian and all the Oklahoma
Sorry, yeah, I
stations
know.
in my head now too, so I can't remember.
I'm jumping back and forth, but they've all been so great. But they said Sandy made a really great point, and these other outlets, I want to say at least on Twitter and some other platforms, have kind of voiced it as well. That this time, in terms of SLED pursuing this, if those two persons of interest that everyone is talking about right now, Wilson and Connolly, if that is if there is something to that lead for real this time, I do agree with her. Someone would kind of be almost be in custody. Do you know what I mean right now? Like I'm all of a
Well, I
sudden
like what
wondering.
Wheel wrote. Did you see what he wrote? I don't think we'll get autopsy if it points towards a suspect until they bring charges. I think that's
Yep.
probably valid.
And that's what I'm thinking too. Okay, that's thank you, Wilby, because you just helped, shake out my convoluted mind and words right now. Is that's her whole point of saying that if that was it would, we would know by now, kind of deal. Like they're not going to chase down an old lead. I mean, I'm sure they're looking into it, but if that isn't it, and if it was them, I think we would know. Like she said, I really think that, there would be. She just said it in a way that made sense. I don't know if it's a Connolly or a Wilson.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, Amanda. It's crazy.
It made me think, like, you know what? It's a logical line of thought, and it certainly should be pursued in terms of investigation. But maybe that's not effing it. Like this could go in a direction that we might not of forethought
I don't
or,
know.
perceived. But I did, and but I hope that brings her, I hope that's true. And I hope her strength and her conviction behind that statement carries her throughout, because I don't want Sled to come back and be like, actually, you know what? We thought those were the two that we thought it was, but it wasn't. And so we don't know. Like, that would break my heart for
It
them.
still could be that situation. We don't know. Afraid this might come down to one person walks or telling on the other because there's no physical evidence. I know. I thought the same thing. I hope that's not the case, Wheel. I really do. To me, I agree. The only thing that I'm hoping for with the physical evidence is that there's enough circumstantial. What's the
Amanda, yes.
command for Nay and her wax melts? It's
Nay, nay.
exclamation point melts. And
That'd be
Lynn, please remind me, send me a message, Lynn, and I'll give you a list of all the commands because I have a list of it and I apologize for not sending that to you.
And sorry, will be, yes, they did, Sled has it. Sled does have it. And wait, Amanda Meatfoot just asked one. Have y'all talked about Alex admitting he lied about the dogs causing glory? Yes, that's what I was like. I know, sorry to segue from Oklahoma to this. But
Hold on
yeah,
one second before we lose. Not now, Nana. I want to thank you for coming in and also sending that email to us. That was amazing. I'm really glad you found us as well. You are more than welcome back, and we would love to have you ask more questions and provide more information to us. You were really helpful. So thank you so much.
yes, thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
No, thank you. And you had me actually, when she sent it, you had me Googling and looking into new things or putting notes on the iPad. Okay.
Messenger, Lynn.
Wait, they did find, yes, so
Yes.
Sled does have it. Sled
Mhm.
does have it. And they've had it for a while.
It's been tested.
There, I do think in terms of, I think I think I understand it better now that, with the private investigators and people, showing up trying to help Sandy and
Yeah,
like asking for
help
things.
Sandy my ass.
I think now Greg Parker kind of needs to prove to me a little harder that it wasn't his. Because that had, just for the record, it did come up after the boat crash. It was not immediately after Stephen's death because that was, didn't I tell you that to you? I was like, this is bugging me. Like, when did they show up? Like, was this?
I don't know,
Because
but I'm going to answer Kay Braze's question. I've heard conflicting stories, Kay Braze. One, I've heard they do it for everyone, and then I've heard that they don't do it for everyone, but due to his line of work, they did. So I don't know which to believe, and I don't have a straight answer on that, and I can't give a straight answer because it's not fair. But
I kind of don't care that they did one though. I'm actually kind of glad that, like, I don't mean to be disrespectful to Stephen at
me
all,
neither.
but in terms of, in case there is evidence, I'm glad they did.
Mhm.
And then, you know what? I think he'd be like, I think right now, from
Me
what we know about him, that he's probably like, test it. I don't care. I'm still who I am. If something's there, it'll be there. If not, so be it. Like, he's still
Well, and in all reality, one may have nothing to do with the other.
the other.
Unfortunately, and maybe for let's say this, maybe he had a good time with whomever that night, and God bless. I hope he did.
But
I
I do
hope it
think,
wasn't the people that did this to him. That's all I can say. That's it. I don't mean that in a
or I
negative
hope it
way.
or that there's nothing on it, if you will. Like, the
Mhm.
results are like, like, no, that's clean. Like, I hope we can take that out of the equation. But I have to say, I do feel, not only do I feel terrible for Stephen's family, my heart genuinely goes out to the Satterfield, like loved ones and family as well, because talk about being put through a ringer in a whole different sense
Mm-hmm.
of continuing to find out. I mean,
K-Braze said, the reason I asked the question is because if they normally do it, someone had to have known it was suspicious and not a car accident. Well, that's the thing that's interesting, K-Braze. And thank you for bringing that up before we close this down, is that I'm so confused on this whole hit and run thing. Day one, minute one, they were like, this isn't a hit and run. And yet
oh,
all the people who were investigating it were not the right people.
I have a huge thing to tell everyone, including you, that I've been meaning to tell you since Monday. So as I pulled in, like, my side street,
Mm-hmm.
I was in behind a big Chevy, black, like the big one, with the extended mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped. They pulled over, and they let me go stand next to them by the mirrors because it's like it was, K-Braze will
Okay,
help
well,
me
where
out.
did they hit you?
It could almost line up, but it's like
It wasn't. Mm-mm.
it's a little, it's a complicated if that's the one blow that did it. I'm telling y'all, like up, and we're talking big tires too. I didn't pick one, with no, this is up. I swear I'm in a county that has I got it. And they lived in my neighborhood, and they were so nice, and it was the most awkward thing I've ever
Okay,
done.
but where did it hit you in the head?
It's well, if I turn my body, for me,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't hit in the right place.
That's what I was thinking. Okay. I still don't think, because I don't think it was like that. I respect that Stephen was doing what he had to achieve to it. He didn't have anyone to himself. That's exactly right. Listen, I'm going to say this right here and right now. I had friends who were strippers, and they were the most amazing people. The most amazing people. First of all, my one friend Jen, which that was her real name, not her stage name. Jen was getting her master's in nutrition. She owned her own house and paid cash for both of her cars. She had zero debt, and she paid her way through all of her schooling, and now is happily married and has a wonderful life. And all she did was dance around a pole and take money for doing so. Now, have your opinions on this. She was not a hooker. She didn't do anything like that. No one was ever allowed to touch her. She didn't date her clients, if you will. None of that nonsense. But she was able to afford a good education. I have another friend whose name is Summer. She did the same thing. She put herself through art school. Actually, she dated a very famous guy. I don't know if she's still dating him, but she was dating a very famous musician at one point in time, still worked her way through, paid all her things herself. So, everyone has their own opinions on things. And I know that every, stripper is not the same, but the friends that I had who were strippers or dancers or whatever you'd like to call them, they didn't particularly care if they were called strippers, either one. Both paid
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
and were good people.
And Stephen made it clear, I think it's clear from Stephen's statements himself, or at least what has been quoted of him of saying, and what his family and friends have said. Like he didn't want to he knew that they were financially strapped, if you will. And the last thing, like he knew his family supported him, but the last thing he wanted to do was take advantage of that. So he wanted to help in any way, like he said, like Sandy said, he wanted to pursue medicine and potentially become a doctor, and he was willing to start at the bottom and work his way up. And so when I look at him, if he's like, okay, if there's something that I can do to earn on the side, because he was pursuing that. And I think you can judge it if you want. I think that's an ill waste of time, in my opinion, in terms of that in Steven's situation. But I genuinely think that he was like, I'm not the only kid here. my family, like, we don't have the means to necessarily be like, hey, this one's going to med school, this one's going this, he wanted to help and contribute
Oh, yeah,
to.
Lynn, thank you for saying that. No, the Jen that I'm talking about is from 20, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Sorry. not our holy. I don't want to say that.
Yes.
And I love it when people hustle to reach a goal as well. And you know what? Sometimes you don't have, at least in these two cases I'm talking about, these two girls didn't have family to help them. And the girl who was dating the very famous musician didn't rely on him for money. She wanted to do her own thing and provide her own way. And I hope that she was successful in doing so. Not today, Satan. Let that puppy go. Let that puppy go. Also, Allie, if you're still here, I did see your message. Yes, it's okay to message me on Facebook. It's always okay to message me on Facebook if you have a question or something. But right, to me, this is exactly what I was saying. You can't judge until you walk a mile in someone else's shoes. And I went to the clubs. I watched my friends because I was intrigued, and they were awesome. These girls were badass, and they, like I said, they work their ass off.
And I don't think there are very many that go into that line of work that are like, I do this because I love it. Like, I think they do it because they're like, I'm pursuing something else and I need help doing that. I'm going to help, financially support and pursue my avenue that I'm working for, or I have children and I'm not, I don't think anyone goes into maybe a few. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think people do it because there's a reason behind it, not because they're like, I love this. I woke up, there's nothing more I wanted to do in life but to work at, a gentleman's club called Beef.
Well, my favorite line from my friend Jen was she was pissed because she was, at the time, I think she was going to be 30, 29 or 30. And she was like, if I were smart, I'd be retired right now and I would have gotten myself a pair of boobs and gone to Vegas. She said, instead, I didn't. She's like, I didn't do it. But she's like, I would have totally been retired if I just got myself a set of boobs and gone to Vegas. Wheelie says, I had a son who got a doctorate in mathematics and played online poker in school to have money and had plenty. Good for him. And you know what? Probably did amazing considering he was in mathematics. Pole dancing is very hard. Lynn, that could have been a horrible rumor that I just started. It is not Jen the Hooligan. It is repeat, not my hoolie.
No, but
never saying that.
And for the record, there are workout classes now that are like essentially pole dancing, because when you think it doesn't take abs to climb a pole and to flip up,
we're gonna have to talk. I'm about to make a confession.
So what pole dancing class did you take?
Did I take or did I teach?
Oh dear God!
Lean in close, boys and girls, because yes,
I support it all. What did you do?
Let me finish. Shut your big old mouth, because you don't know. Because I've never told anybody. Well, I didn't tell you, but a lot of people know this. No, I did not. I never took my clothes off. But there was a free class in my neighborhood for pole dancing. I went on a Saturday and I took the class and I was like, this is the most amazing thing. Actually, that's not true. It was a chair and floor dancing class. And it was the most amazing thing I had ever done. It was so athletic and amazing that I went for every day for like a month. I loved it. I signed right up. I was like, this is amazing. And then they put the poles in and I was like, oh my God, this is my thing. So you know how there's like moms who like soccer moms. I was the girl. So I was so good. I wound up teaching classes. This is a true story. Oh, I have the pictures. Oh, I have all the things. But it was purely for the classes. I kept all clothing on, but I can teach pole. I did have a pole in my house. so that I could practice. I had it in my basement. In fact, my mother-in-law was very encouraging. But yes, I did teach those classes for exercise, and I still can. And I did it up until I was 6 months pregnant with my son. I still taught pole classes till I was 6 months pregnant. I would go in and actually, because my son was really low in my stomach when I was pregnant, like he would sit on my bladder, I would go in and hang upside down just to get relief. So he would slide slide up to my rib cage so I could breathe, so I could just feel better for a little bit. But yep, I did. I
I
taught
did.
classes.
That's amazing. I wish I'd known that a long time ago because I would have been like, hey, I need some help. I'm trying to tighten up these abs, but I did do one of not the pole, but with the rope, like the rubber band things, the acrobatic ones where we do like we wrap ourselves. I did one of those, and I was like, okay, I need to go to the class before I'm allowed to go to this class because it was.
Oh, did you do the silks?
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
twisting my leg, like flipping up,
Mhm.
and then you twist, and
Yeah.
holy mackerel! I was literally like, and I went to like the beginner one. I didn't BS my way in, but I literally was like, so I understand this is the intro class. Is there like an intern class before you're allowed to actually enter into the intro? Because it was intense, and if I could get
You
into
really
it.
are family because only my family knows that story. Very few friends know that story
I didn't
because
know that till right now.
I know, because when I tell people, they're like, really? You were well, like Wheel said, you stripped? No, I didn't. But I met some amazing women. I met some strong women. And what was cool is what was really fun is I lost a lot of weight. I'll have to show you some pictures from back then. Yeah, I was a fit little critter. But what was nice is having women come in who were really shy and really mm, just down on themselves, and having them walk a little taller and feel a little better when they walked out. It was really that was cool for me. That was the best payment I could have received, was watching a woman walk in with kind of her shoulders hunched and walk out a little taller, a little sassier, and that was really cool. That meant the world to me. I met a lot of friends doing that. Oh dear God, I'm going to ask this and say, what? Risk? I'm going
What?
to fall into your trap. Risk?
Do it.
I used to gamble on golf course and won quite a bit of money back in the day. We didn't bet hundreds, but more. See? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Being self-sufficient. It does.
Being self-sufficient. You've never kind of noticed ankles? Well, I'm going to recommend that you check out Punket's Only Ankles page. Because she got some sexy ass ankles. Just saying. All right. So now that I've divulged some of my deepest,
Wait, is
darkest,
that for real? Is there an ankles only page?
yes, LFT, and you must pay $30 to get in, but only pay to
No,
Punkette.
no.
Trying to score you some cash, Punkette.
I will once I go to a few more burn boot camp classes. That's another one I love. It's not quite the same, but you get to see people come in and no one gives a crap about your current status. It is so motivating. It's so encouraging, and I get it.
It was fun, Lynn. Thank you very much. It was the most rewarding thing other than motherhood, because I literally got to see women make a difference in themselves.
So not only can you do makeup and
Mhm,
hair and stuff like a,
mhm.
but you can climb. Okay.
But I can
Okay.
twerk like a stripper. Yes, I can.
I didn't know my big sister did that. I'm gonna have to,
And I can definitely dangle and hang upside down and do the one leg things and hold on by an I can all the things.
And
Yes.
now I'm like, if you can do it, then I want to do it. I'm like,
I can do it. I
hey
can do it.
Siri, find the closest pole dancing class to me right now.
You'll find it. I'll come down it. I'll teach you. They have removable poles. It ain't no big thing. Actually, what I did is I went to a restaurant supply shop because that's where all the homies. You go to this restaurant supply shop and you get a brass pole. You know what you put your feet on, and I hung that up. It was under $100, and I twirled, would learn things and teach people things, and I don't know.
Do you want to
That's
know what I did?
That's for
I
another day.
looked at one thing one time, and I was just curious. No judgment to anyone. I know a ton of people like it for the restaurant itself, but I looked at the Hooters application, and that's no joke. Well, at least I'll speak for
Well,
North
see, I can't do
Carolina.
that because you have to wear like pantyhose and shorts together, and I was never a
I
fan.
wouldn't even, there's no way I would have passed the test to even be able to like get the job. But I have to say, there was so, like, I don't know if I don't want to, I'm not saying it like a sexist kind of way, but I would be like, no, you got to work your fanny off. To get it. Like, they had requirements that I was like, that's amazing. My education doesn't even qualify me to like even apply here.
Kate
Even
does
be able to.
crime. We were showing your live from last night, but we didn't show the whole thing because we told everybody they have to go and watch it again. But it was amazing. And welcome in. We were just talking about you. All right, you guys. Well, I'm gonna close this down now that I've told everyone my secrets. And
I'm in the car. Actually, is Butterfly Kisses still in here? Where I have to tell her. Guess where I have to go real quick.
field trip.
We're in the car.
Aw.
Yes.
Oh my
I have
gosh,
to
Kate,
go.
are you kidding? Thank you for having us come up. That was really nice of you. And you're live. You have to go back and listen to us for a minute because we were just totally hyping you up and saying how well you did last night. And that was an incredible interview. And your compassion for everything was amazing. So, and I actually, oh geez, I'm really sorry, you guys. That was my nail hitting that. I have your live from last night pinned. So I'm telling everyone to, here it is right here. I'm telling everyone to go and watch that.
Used to play. Uh-huh. So it's
Oh, okay, butterfly kisses. Well, we send you our love. Um,
and Kate too. I'll send you. I got home shortly before our live tonight, but I'm gonna send um clean up the Word document looks a little messy, but just while I know you're in here, I will send it to you. Not that everyone can't go back and listen, but just in case, I just was send you what I put together.
all right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight and discussing this really hard topic. Tomorrow night, we're going to come back and we're going to do a bit of an open panel. I want to hear from you guys if you're interested. We're just going to talk about some things and see what we can find between the next 24 hours to update you on. Also, if you have any,
Are we still doing the map stuff, or is that
yeah,
what we want?
if you have
Okay.
anything you want to share with us, please feel free to message me on Facebook, or you can send it to our email, which is decipherpodcast1@gmail. Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you. I hope you guys have a great night, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. Be safe, be kind, go to your favorite creator. My suggestion is Kate, maybe Jen the Hooligan. Go around and like a bunch of their videos and leave a nice comment and tell them that this cipher sent you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. If we don't see you tomorrow night, have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.